California DMV practice test. Test 1. Question 1. Which of these statements is true about changing lanes? Option A. You only need to turn and look over your right shoulder for lane changes to the right or left. Option B. Look over your right shoulder for a right lane change and your left shoulder for a left lane change. Option C. Vehicles with two outside mirrors do not have blind spots. The correct answer is: look over your right shoulder for a right lane change and your left shoulder for a left lane change. Explanation. When changing lanes, it's essential to check your blind spots by looking over your shoulder in the direction you intend to move. This means looking over your right shoulder when changing to the right lane and looking over your left shoulder when changing to the left lane. Checking blind spots is crucial for ensuring there are no vehicles or obstacles in your intended path. Vehicles with two outside mirrors still have blind spots, so physically checking your blind spots is necessary for safe lane changes. Test 1. Question 3. The two-way road you are driving on has a lane marked as shown in the picture. This lane is used. Option A. To begin or end left turns or start a permitted U-turn. Option B. As a regular driving lane during periods of heavy traffic. Option C. To pass other vehicles that are moving slowly. The correct answer is: to begin or end left turns or start a permitted U-turn. Explanation. This type of lane is typically meant for vehicles making left turns or U-turns and should be used for those specific maneuvers. Always adhere to local traffic regulations and follow road markings for safe and legal driving practices. Test 1. Question 4. Which way do you turn your front wheels to park downhill next to a curb? Option A. Into the curb. Option B. Away from the curb. Option C. Parallel to the curb. The correct answer is: into the curb. Explanation. This means you should turn your front wheels to the right, into the curb. This is a safety measure to prevent the vehicle from rolling into the street in case the brakes fail. Always follow local traffic laws and regulations when parking. Test 1. Question 5. It is against the law to enter an intersection when: Option A. You can't get all the way across before the light turns red. Option B. The light is flashing yellow, and you didn't stop first. Option C. The light is yellow, and you cannot stop safely. The correct answer is: you can't get all the way across before the light turns red. Explanation. It is against the law to enter an intersection when you can't get all the way across before the light turns red. This rule aims to prevent gridlock and congestion by ensuring that vehicles do not block intersections when the traffic signal changes. If you can't safely clear the intersection before the light changes to red, you should wait behind the stop line until you have enough space to proceed without obstructing cross traffic. This helps maintain traffic flow and keeps intersections clear for other drivers. Test 1. Question 6. An orange-colored sign like this means: Option A. There is road work ahead. Option B. You must change lanes ahead. Option C. There is a detour ahead. The correct answer is: there is road work ahead. Explanation. This sign is used to notify drivers that there is construction or maintenance work on the road ahead, and they should be prepared for potential changes in traffic flow, speed limits, or lane configurations. It does not indicate an immediate requirement to change lanes or a specific detour. Test 1. Question 7. If your vehicle starts to lose traction because of water on the road, hydroplane, you should: Option A. Drive at a constant speed to gain better traction. Option B. Apply the brakes firmly to prevent your vehicle from sliding. Option C. Slow down gradually and not apply the brakes. The correct answer is: slow down gradually and not apply the brakes. Explanation. Reducing your speed gradually allows your tires to regain traction on the wet surface. Sudden braking can lead to a loss of control, so it's important to ease off the accelerator and maintain a steady and controlled speed until you regain traction. Additionally, avoid making sharp turns or sudden maneuvers. Test 1. Question 8. While driving, you should look 10 to 15 seconds ahead of you. Option A. And focus on the middle of the road. Option B. Because it is a legal requirement. Option C. To see potential hazards early. The correct answer is to see potential hazards early. Explanation. The primary reason for looking 10 to 15 seconds ahead while driving is to anticipate and react to potential hazards early. This practice is essential for maintaining situational awareness on the road. By looking ahead, you give yourself more time to identify and respond to any obstacles, changes in traffic conditions, or other potential dangers. Test 1. Question 9. Which of these statements is true about large trucks? Option A. They take longer to stop than passenger vehicles. Option B. They all have air brakes that allow them to stop quickly. Option C. They are more maneuverable than passenger vehicles. The correct answer is they take longer to stop than passenger vehicles. Explanation. Large trucks generally have a much greater mass and momentum than passenger vehicles, which means they require more time and distance to come to a complete stop. This is particularly important for drivers sharing the road with large trucks to be aware of, as it affects safe following distances and overall road safety. The other statements are not accurate. Not all large trucks have air brakes, and they are typically less maneuverable than passenger vehicles. Test 1. Question 10. A person may legally ride in the back of a pickup truck when Option A. The sides of the pickup bed are at least 24 inches high. Option B. The back of the pickup is covered with a camper shell. Option C. In a secured seat and while using an approved safety belt. The correct answer is in a secured seat and while using an approved safety belt. Explanation. A person may legally ride in the back of a pickup truck if they are in a secured seat and using an approved safety belt. It's important to ensure that anyone riding in the back of a pickup truck is properly secured to prevent injury in the event of sudden stops or accidents. Riding in the back of an open pickup bed without being properly secured is generally not allowed because it can be dangerous and increase the risk of injury. Test 1. Question 11. If you are convicted of driving with an excessive blood alcohol concentration, BESC, you may be sentenced to serve. Option A. Up to 6 months in jail. Option B. Up to 12 months in jail. Option C. No jail time, but you must pay a fine of $500. The correct answer is up to 6 months in jail. Explanation. If you are convicted of driving with an excessive blood alcohol concentration, you may be sentenced to serve up to 6 months in jail. This is one of the potential penalties for a DUI, driving under the influence, offense in the state. It's important to note that the actual consequences can vary based on factors such as the level of BAC, any prior DUI convictions, and the specific circumstances of the case. Penalties may also include fines, mandatory alcohol education programs, and license suspension. Test 1. Question 12. You are waiting to turn right at the red traffic light. There's a pedestrian on the right side of your vehicle waiting to cross the street you want to enter. Who has the right of way when your light turns green? Option A. The pedestrian has the right of way. Option B. You have the right of way only if the crosswalk is not marked. Option C. You have the right of way because your light is green. The correct answer is the pedestrian has the right of way. Explanation. In this scenario, the pedestrian has the right of way. When you are waiting to turn right at a red traffic light, and there's a pedestrian on the right side waiting to cross the street you want to enter, you must yield to the pedestrian. Even when your light turns green, you should still yield to the pedestrian until they have safely crossed the street. Pedestrians generally have the right of way in crosswalks, and it's important for drivers to be aware of and respect pedestrian rights in such situations. Always check for pedestrians before making a right turn on a green light. Test 1. Question 13. It is night. A vehicle coming towards you has its high beams on which make it hard to see the road ahead. You should. Option A. Look ahead towards the left edge of your lane. Option B. Look ahead towards the right edge of your lane. Option C. Look straight ahead in your lane. The correct answer is look ahead towards the right edge of your lane. Explanation. When a vehicle approaching you at night has its high beams on, it can be challenging to see the road ahead due to the glare. To reduce the impact of the glare, you should look ahead toward the right edge of your lane, rather than directly at the oncoming vehicle's lights. This helps you maintain better visibility and stay on track while minimizing the blinding effect of the high beams. Test 1. Question 14. There are 2 traffic lanes moving in your direction. You are driving in the left lane and many vehicles are passing you on the right. If the driver behind you wishes to drive faster, you should. Option A. Stay in your lane so you don't impede the flow of traffic. Option B. Drive onto the left shoulder to let the other vehicles pass. Option C. Move into the right lane when it is safe. The correct answer is move into the right lane when it is safe. Explanation. When you are driving in the left lane, and many vehicles are passing you on the right because the driver behind you wishes to drive faster, you should move into the right lane when it is safe. Slower moving vehicles should keep to the right-hand lane or as close as practical to the right edge of the roadway when they are being overtaken and passed by other vehicles in the same direction. By moving into the right lane, you allow faster moving traffic to pass you safely and help maintain the flow of traffic. It's important to do so when it is safe to change lanes, using your turn signals to indicate your intention to change lanes. Test 1. Question 15. At an uncontrolled intersection where you cannot see cross traffic until you are just about to enter the intersection, the speed limit is Option A. 15 miles per hour. Option B. 25 miles per hour. Option C. 20 miles per hour. The correct answer is 15 miles per hour. Explanation. At an uncontrolled intersection where visibility is limited, it is important to approach with caution. In such situations, you should adhere to a safe and appropriate speed, which is often lower than the typical speed limit for that area. 15 miles per hour is the safest choice for an uncontrolled intersection where visibility is limited. Always remember that safety should be the priority in such scenarios, and adjusting your speed according to the conditions is crucial. Test 1. Question 16. You are driving 55 miles per hour in the far left, fast, lane of a freeway posted 65 miles per hour. You could be cited for driving too slowly. Option A. If the road or weather conditions warrant driving this slowly. Option B. If you block the normal and reasonable flow of traffic. Option C. Under no circumstances because it is always safe to drive slower than other traffic. The correct answer is if you block the normal and reasonable flow of traffic. Explanation. In many jurisdictions, the general rule is that slower moving traffic should keep to the right lanes, allowing faster moving traffic to pass on the left. Therefore, if you are driving 55 miles per hour in the far left, fast, lane of a freeway posted at 65 miles per hour, and you are not passing other vehicles or impeding the flow of traffic, you could be considered driving too slowly for the lane. It's important to drive at a speed consistent with the flow of traffic and use the right lanes when not actively passing other vehicles. If you are driving significantly slower than the surrounding traffic in the left lane, it can impede the smooth flow and create potential safety hazards. Always be aware of your speed in relation to the traffic around you and adjust accordingly to maintain a safe and efficient flow on the roadway. Test 1. Question 17. When can you drive using only your parking lights? Option A. 30 minutes after sunset or 30 minutes before sunrise. Option B. Under no circumstances. Option C. On foggy days when visibility is low. The correct answer is under no circumstances. Explanation. Using only your parking lights while driving is generally not allowed under normal conditions. Parking lights are designed for use when the vehicle is parked to make it visible to other drivers, not for driving. The correct answer is under no circumstances. It's essential to use your headlights, not just parking lights, when driving in low light conditions, such as 30 minutes after sunset or 30 minutes before sunrise. Additionally, in conditions like fog or other situations where visibility is low, you should use your headlights, not just parking lights, to make your vehicle more visible to others on the road. Test 1. Question 18. Which of these is the proper way to change lanes? Option A. Signal, check your mirrors, and then change lanes. Option B. Signal, check your mirrors, and look over your shoulder before you change lanes. Option C. Check your mirrors, look over your shoulder, then change lanes. The correct answer is signal, check your mirrors, and look over your shoulder before you change lanes. Explanation. This sequence includes using your turn signal to indicate your intention, checking mirrors to assess the traffic around you, and doing a shoulder check to ensure there are no vehicles in your blind spot before changing lanes. Remember, while using mirrors is crucial, a shoulder check provides an additional layer of safety, especially in situations where blind spots may not be entirely covered by mirrors. Test 1. Question 19. What should you do at an intersection with a flashing yellow signal light? Option A. Maintain your speed but watch for other vehicles. Option B. Stop before crossing the intersection. Option C. Slow down and cross carefully. The correct answer is slow down and cross carefully. Explanation. A flashing yellow light indicates that you should proceed with caution. It typically means that you have the right of way, but you should be prepared to yield to oncoming traffic or pedestrians. It's essential to be attentive and watch for any potential hazards while proceeding through the intersection. Test 1. Question 20. This yellow sign means Option A. There is a sharp turn to the right. Option B. Right turn only lane. Option C. Right turn permitted on green arrow only. The correct answer is there is a sharp turn to the right. Explanation. The sharp turn to the right sign is a traffic sign that warns drivers about an upcoming sharp curve or bend in the road to the right. This sign is designed to alert drivers to slow down and navigate the curve safely. The sign usually features a symbol of a right-pointing arrow bending sharply to convey the direction and severity of the upcoming turn. Drivers should approach these signs with caution, reduce their speed, and be prepared to negotiate the curve. It's important to follow the indicated speed limit for the curve and adjust your speed based on road conditions. This type of sign is part of the traffic control devices aimed at promoting safe driving by providing advance notice of changes in the road alignment. Test 1. Question 21. This white sign means you. Option A. May turn left only on a green arrow. Option B. May turn left on a green light when it is safe. Option C. Must wait for the solid green light before you turn left. The correct answer is may turn left on a green light when it is safe. Explanation. A left turn yield on green sign is used to indicate that, when the traffic signal is green, vehicles making a left turn at the intersection must yield to oncoming traffic. This sign is often placed at intersections where left turns are allowed but require the turning vehicle to yield to opposing traffic. When a driver sees this sign and the traffic signal turns green, they can proceed to make a left turn, but they must yield the right of way to oncoming traffic, including pedestrians, before completing the turn. It's important for drivers to be aware of and follow the specific instructions provided by road signs and signals to ensure safe and orderly traffic flow at intersections. Always be attentive to signs and signals, and yield as necessary to avoid conflicts with other vehicles. Test 1. Question 22. When approaching a crosswalk where a blind pedestrian is waiting to cross, you must stop. Option A. More than 5 feet from the crosswalk so the pedestrian will not be distracted by the sound of your engine. Option B. At the crosswalk and wait for the pedestrian to cross the street. Option C. At the crosswalk and then tell the pedestrian when to cross the street. The correct answer is at the crosswalk and wait for the pedestrian to cross the street. Explanation. When approaching a crosswalk where a blind pedestrian is waiting to cross, you must stop at the crosswalk and wait for the pedestrian to cross the street. It is essential to stop at the crosswalk and allow the blind pedestrian to cross safely. Never attempt to direct the pedestrian or provide guidance unless they ask for assistance. It is generally best to wait patiently and ensure that the pedestrian can safely navigate the crosswalk without interference from your vehicle. Always prioritize the safety and right-of-way of pedestrians at crosswalks. Test 1. Question 23. Turn on your windshield wipers and use your headlights on rainy, snowy, or foggy days. Option A. On the high beam setting. Option B. So other drivers can see you. Option C. Only when driving on the freeway. The correct answer is so other drivers can see you. Explanation. When driving in rainy, snowy, or foggy conditions, it's important to turn on your windshield wipers and use your headlights. Using headlights in such weather conditions enhances your visibility to other drivers, making it safer for everyone on the road. Headlights help other drivers see your vehicle, especially during reduced visibility, and they also improve your ability to see the road ahead. It's a safety measure to increase overall visibility and reduce the risk of accidents in adverse weather conditions. Test 1. Question 24. If the road is wet and your vehicle starts to skid, you should. Option A. Slow down by shifting into a lower gear. Option B. Slowly ease your foot off the gas pedal. Option C. Slow down by pumping the brakes quickly and firmly. The correct answer is slowly ease your foot off the gas pedal. Explanation. When your vehicle starts to skid on a wet road, it's crucial to avoid sudden movements. Gradually ease your foot off the gas pedal to reduce speed and regain control. Avoid slamming on the brakes or making sharp steering maneuvers, as this can worsen the skid. Steering in the direction you want to go can also help you regain control. If you have anti-lock brakes, ABS, apply steady pressure to the brake pedal. If not, gently pump the brakes. The key is to stay calm, steer in the direction you want to go, and avoid abrupt actions that can exacerbate the skid. Test 1. Question 25. 1. Back up in the passenger vehicle. Option A. Rely on your rearview mirror. Option B. Look over your right shoulder through your rear window. Option C. Only use your sight and rearview mirrors. The correct answer is look over your right shoulder through your rear window. Explanation. While your rearview mirror and side mirrors can provide some information about what's behind you, physically turning and looking over your right shoulder through the rear window allows for a more comprehensive view of the area directly behind your vehicle. This is crucial for checking blind spots and ensuring there are no obstacles, pedestrians, or other vehicles in your path before you start backing up. Always prioritize safety and use all available means to check your surroundings while maneuvering your vehicle. Test 1. Question 26. At night. If an oncoming vehicle fails to dim its high beams, look. Option A. Toward the center of the roadway. Option B. Toward the right edge of your lane. Option C. Straight ahead in your lane. The correct answer is toward the right edge of your lane. Explanation. To minimize the glare from oncoming high beams, you can shift your gaze toward the right edge of your lane. This helps avoid direct exposure to the intense light and allows you to maintain better visibility of the road ahead. However, make sure to keep your focus on your lane and surroundings to ensure safe driving. If the situation persists and the oncoming driver does not adjust their high beams, it's advisable to avoid looking directly at the lights and consider adjusting your rearview mirror to its nighttime setting. Test 1. Question 27. You are going to make a left turn from the dedicated left turn lane when a yellow arrow appears for your lane. You should. Option A. Speed up to get through the intersection. Option B. Stop and not turn under any circumstances. Option C. Be prepared to obey the next signal that appears. The correct answer is be prepared to obey the next signal that appears. Explanation. A yellow arrow in a left turn lane indicates that the left turn signal is about to change. You should be prepared to obey the next signal that appears. This means you can proceed with the left turn if the signal changes to a green arrow, but you must stop if the signal changes to red. It's important to use caution, be aware of the traffic signal, and follow the instructions given by the signals to ensure safe and legal maneuvering through the intersection. Test 1. Question 28. Always look carefully for motorcycles before changing lanes because Option A. Their smaller size makes them harder to see. Option B. They usually have the right of way at intersections. Option C. It is illegal for motorcycles to share traffic lanes. The correct answer is their smaller size makes them harder to see. Explanation. Motorcycles can be less visible than larger vehicles, and their smaller size may make them harder to spot, especially in a driver's blind spot. It's crucial for drivers to be extra cautious and thoroughly check for motorcycles before changing lanes or making any maneuvers on the road. Motorcycles have the same rights and privileges as any other vehicle on the road, and it is the responsibility of all drivers to be aware of their presence and share the road safely. Test 1. Question 29. Generally speaking, you are in a large truck's blind spot if you Option A. Driving close to the large truck's left front wheel. Option B. Cannot see the truck driver in the truck's side mirrors. Option C. Follow no closer than 10 feet behind the large trucks. The correct answer is cannot see the truck driver in the truck's side mirrors. Explanation. If you cannot see the truck driver in the truck's side mirrors, you are likely in one of the truck's blind spots. Large trucks have larger blind spots compared to smaller vehicles, and these areas are often on the sides and rear of the truck where the driver may have limited visibility. It's important to be aware of these blind spots and avoid lingering in them to enhance safety when sharing the road with large trucks. Test 1. Question 30. Which way should your front wheel be turned when parked uphill next to a curb? Option A. Parallel to the curb. Option B. Away from the curb. Option C. Toward the curb. The correct answer is away from the curb. Explanation. When parking uphill next to a curb, you should turn your front wheels away from the curb. This means that the top of the wheels should be pointed away from the curb and towards the center of the road. This is a safety measure to help prevent your vehicle from rolling into traffic in case the brakes fail or other unforeseen circumstances occur. Test 1. Question 31. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will never miss a new video. You may legally drive in any freeway carpool lane if Option A. All the other lanes are stopped with heavy traffic. Option B. You carry the minimum number of passengers shown on the sign. Option C. It is between the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. The correct answer is you carry the minimum number of passengers shown on the sign. Explanation. The rules regarding the use of carpool lanes can vary depending on the location, as different areas may have different regulations. In general, however, to drive in a freeway carpool lane, you typically need to have the minimum number of passengers indicated on the sign. This is usually to promote carpooling and reduce congestion by giving priority to vehicles with more occupants. Test 1. Question 32. The 3-second rule applies to the space of your vehicle. Option A. In back. Option B. Ahead. Option C. To the side. The correct answer is ahead. Explanation. The 3-second rule is a guideline for maintaining a safe following distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you. Therefore, it applies to the space ahead of your vehicle. The rule suggests that you should maintain a gap equivalent to at least 3 seconds of travel time between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you to allow for a safe reaction time and help prevent collisions. Test 1. Question 33. You have consented to take a test for the alcohol content of your blood, breath, or urine. Option A. Only if you have been drinking alcohol. Option B. Whenever you drive in California. Option C. Only if a collision has occurred. The correct answer is whenever you drive in California. Explanation. In California, when you operate a motor vehicle, you are deemed to have given your consent to a test for the alcohol content of your blood, breath, or urine if you were lawfully arrested for driving under the influence, DUI. This means that the consent applies in the event of a lawful arrest for DUI, not only if you have been drinking alcohol but also if law enforcement has reasonable suspicion that you are driving under the influence. Refusing to take such a test after a lawful DUI arrest can lead to penalties, such as license suspension and other legal consequences. It's important to be aware of and understand the implied consent laws in the jurisdiction where you are driving. Test 1. Question 34. A law enforcement officer noticed that one of your passengers is not wearing a seatbelt and writes citation. Which of the following is true? Option A. Both you and your passenger will receive a citation. Option B. Your passenger will receive the citation, regardless of his or her age. Option C. You can receive the citation if the passenger is younger than 16. The correct answer is you can receive the citation if the passenger is younger than 16. Explanation. The law generally places the responsibility on the driver to ensure that all passengers, regardless of their age, are wearing seatbelts. If a law enforcement officer notices that a passenger, especially one under the age of 16, is not wearing a seatbelt, it is typically the driver who may receive the citation. The idea is to encourage the driver to take responsibility for the safety of all occupants in the vehicle. Test 1. Question 35. When roads are slippery you should. Option A. Pump your brakes to test the traction of your tires. Option B. Decrease the distance that you look ahead of your vehicle. Option C. Avoid making fast turns and fast stops. The correct answer is avoid making fast turns and fast stops. Explanation. Slippery roads reduce traction, making it more challenging to control your vehicle. By avoiding sudden or rapid movements, you can help maintain better control. Additionally, it's recommended to increase your following distance, drive at a slower speed, and be gentle with both braking and acceleration to reduce the risk of skidding or losing control on slippery surfaces. Test 1. Question 36. This red and white sign means. Option A. The road ahead is closed to traffic in your direction. Option B. Do not enter the road ahead unless it is safe to do so. Option C. The road ahead is closed to traffic in all directions. The correct answer is the road ahead is closed to traffic in your direction. Explanation. The wrong way sign is typically used to indicate that you are traveling in the wrong direction, and it is not safe to proceed further. This sign is placed to prevent drivers from going the wrong way on one-way streets, ramps, or other roads. It implies that the road ahead is closed to traffic in the direction you are currently heading.